What's up, guys? Welcome back to my garage. This is where we spent a lot of time for the stay-at-home order in March, April, and May. Well, I'm back here at least for the remainder of November. Use these videos to provide you a little bit of instruction. I'll give you the warm-up, I'll give you the movement prep, I'll give you the intended stimulus of the workouts. If you happen to come for open gym, you can follow along for a little bit, or if you happen to make it to one of those times where we just can't find a sub for one of my classes, then absolutely just play this video, go through it, and then it'll be similar. It won't be exactly like going with having a coaching class, but it'll be very similar. So for today, we have two pieces. So the first piece is all strength. We're going to be coming from the rig. So set those J hooks up at about armpit height. We're going to pull that bar out of the rig. We're going to step backwards, and we're going to do a single strict press. So for 15 minutes, we're going to use plenty of time to warm up, and then we're going to build to a heavy single. So again, it's all upper body here, and make sure that you've got your fingers wrapped around the bar here, and we're going to squeeze everything. So squeeze those legs, squeeze those core muscles, press that bar all the way up, finish that rep out with locked elbows, bring it back down, and then back into the J hooks. So after 15 minutes building to a heavy single strict press, then we have 5 rounds. 5 rounds, you get to choose your cardio piece. You either have a 500-meter row, 400-meter run, or a 25-calorie bike for the guys, 18-calorie bike for the ladies, followed immediately by 9 strict presses. Now the recommended weight for these strict presses is 95 and 65. However, this is something that you should be able to do either all 5 sets, all 9 reps unbroken, or 5 and 4 with a very short break in between. And in this workout, we're actually pulling this bar off of the ground. So we're going to start here, bring it up here to the front rack, then we're going to do 9 strict presses or 5 presses, set it down, pick it back up, and then do the remainder of the reps. 5 rounds of that cardio piece followed by 9 strict presses. That should take you roughly 15 to 18 minutes. And if you need to scale that weight, make sure you do so beforehand. I hate for you guys to get halfway through round 2 and then fall into the trap of getting sets of 2 or 3 with big long breaks, or maybe if you're spending more than 2.5 or 3 minutes on the cardio piece, then you really need to trim it back. That should be something that takes you about 2 minutes, maybe 2.5, 3 at the very most. If you're spending 3.5 or 4 minutes on the rower or on the bike, you need to trim the distance or the calories down. So let's go ahead and get to this warm up. So first, just start off with that 2 minutes of cardio. So hop on the rower, hop on the bike, just get going. That first minute is just to get the blood pumping, just get the joints to loosen up, and then pick up the pace a little bit as you hit the 1 minute mark, and then go a little bit faster again for the final 30 and final 15 seconds. Now, if you are running somewhere between, somewhere around our 250 loop around the parking lot or our 400-meter loop, is good, and just make that a nice and easy jog. No need to sprint that out. Then once we get back into the gym or we're done on that machine, let's grab a PVC pipe. I've got a wooden dowel here, same thing. We're gonna have our nice wide snatch grip, and we're gonna do 30 seconds of pass throughs. So keeping those elbows straight. We're also gonna keep our lower back nice and straight, so we're not gonna overextend. We're also not going to slouch forward. 30 seconds of pass throughs. Get a nice good stretch in your chest and your shoulders here. Keep those elbows straight. After 30 seconds there, you're going to hop back on the machine. Really focus on that transition. Don't waste a ton of time getting on and off of the machine. So another 30 seconds on the rower or on the bike, or you can just do a really quick 175 loop. That's a really small loop around the building. And you're going to come back in. We're going to grab that PVC pipe again, and we're going to have our clean grip or our strict press grip. However you want to grab this bar while we're pressing it overhead. We're going to have it here in the back rack. And again, this is going to be a little bit strange, but what we're trying to do is create a very straight bar path with this PVC. So we want that bar to go straight up and down. Now we're just going to do 30 seconds of behind the neck PVC presses. So from here, just make sure that we're squeezing those traps, being nice and intentional, squeezing all those muscles in our shoulder, fully extending those elbows, and then reaching up at the top. So 30 seconds there, and then back on the machine or back around the building for that small loop. And then we've got a seated PVC press, also known as a Z-Press. So when we're sitting down here, we want to make sure that we are in the L position. So about 90 degrees here at our hips, bracing that core so we're not slouching forward. Again, we're not leaning backward, turning this into a bench press. Now we're actually bringing that barbell into the front rack position. Notice how my chin goes backwards. I don't lean back and allow that bar to go out and around. I'm going to pull that chin back, press it forward. As soon as it gets over my head, then I push that chin back forward, all the way up. And again, I'm squeezing my traps, squeezing all those muscles in my shoulders. And I'm not leaning back and doing an incline bench press. So 30 seconds of the Z-Press with the PVC pipe. Another round of cardio. Make this the fastest one here for 30 seconds. Really go, go, go. Spike that heart rate quite a bit. And now finally, we are going to do 30 seconds of strict press with this PVC pipe. So again, focus on pulling that chin backwards, squeezing all of the muscles, you know, those big muscles just below your neck, your traps, everything in between your shoulder blades, should be squeezing those muscles. Wrap those fingers around this PVC pipe, pull that chin back, press that bar up, lock out those elbows, bring it back down. 30 seconds there. Now you can grab that barbell, just set that down over there. Let's grab that barbell and let's go through the normal barbell warm up. So not a lot of lower body stuff here, but it's always good to warm up the entire body because believe it or not, we're going to be using our core for quite a bit of these strict presses here today. So we're going to go with the normal barbell warm up. Start with 5 good mornings. So notice how my legs are pretty straight here, my lower back very straight. I'm stretching out those hamstrings and then I'm shooting those hips forward. Again, we're going to do this for 5 reps. Stretch out those hamstrings and then shoot those hips forward. Next up, we have the back squats. Very simple here. We're going to rotate those feet out just a little bit. We're going to shoot those hips back and down. Try to get those hips below the top of your knee while keeping that chest upright. Notice heels on the floor. I'm driving my knees out, not letting them cave in. 5 back squats. Then we're going to finish, the next piece here, we're gonna go with elbow rotations. I always like to kind of feel around, get my finger to touch the smooth part of the barbell. That means my hands are in a good position for this. Fingers wrap all the way around the bar. Push those elbows forward. Hold for a good 3 seconds here. Bring them back and repeat. We should be feeling a good stretch in the back part of our shoulders here. So we're gonna do that 5 times. Then we're gonna bring that bar around to the front. And again, we're going to be doing some strict presses here. Really exaggerate that shrug. Also, pull that chin backwards. So don't lean back and press. I want to see that core nice and tight. Your body should be straight up and down. Pull that chin back. Press that bar up. Elbows are locked. Really exaggerate that shrug. Hold for about 3 seconds. Bring it back down. We're going to do that for 5 reps. Bring it down to your waist. Now these Romanian deadlifts. Make sure you're turning those knuckles down towards the ground. That's going to activate those forearms. Pull that bar back into your body, so don't let it come out here. Pull that bar into your body, back into your legs. Hips are going to go backwards. Lower back stays nice and flat. Stretching out those hamstrings. And then we're going to stand up tall. Now let your hamstrings tell you when to stop. It's not important how far you go. We're just trying to stretch out those hamstrings here. So if you only can get to about here, that's fine. As long as you feel a good stretch, that's just fine. And then we're going to finish this up with 5 front squats. Just like those back squats. Butt goes down, chest stays up, heels on the ground. Driving those knees out as you stand up. 5 reps there. I'm going to go ahead and set this bar down right here. All right. One little piece of stretching here. This is going to help loosen up the front part of our shoulder as well as our wrists. It's a reverse tabletop stretch. Sometimes it looks like a crab walk. Call it what you want to call it. But it's kind of a modified glute bridge and wrist stretch. So we're going to get here, heels on the floor, palms on the floor. We're going to try to get at 90 degrees with our knees straight through the hips and 90 degrees at our shoulders, but it's backwards for our shoulders. So you should feel a little bit of the stretch here in your shoulders and in your wrists. Now, if you need to focus on those shoulders quite a bit more, you can actually let that butt sink down and let those hands go up towards the top of your head. Or if you need to focus on those wrists more, you can actually let that butt go forward so your wrists are gonna go down underneath your back a little bit more. I recommend everybody just try to shoot those hips up nice and high, get the 90-degree angle at your knees, and the reverse 90-degree angle at your shoulders. Hang out here for about a minute, and then you can relax. Now those shoulders should be nice and primed for this next piece. So we're gonna dive into that strength portion. Woo, excuse me. So a couple of things to think about with this strict press, your elbow position. So when we normally have that bar in the front rack, like if we're doing squats or if we're doing thrusters, I'm always telling you guys, get those elbows nice and high. So this part of your arm is usually parallel, or you're trying to get it parallel with the floor. Not today. We wanna make sure we've got plenty of leverage, plenty of arm underneath that bar to help you press it up. So this pointy part of your elbow, roll these up so you guys can see here. Pointy part of your elbow should be slightly in front of, let me move this around, slightly in front of that bar. So we don't want that bar hanging out, in front of our elbows. It's gonna put a whole lot of tension on our elbows and our biceps. We also don't wanna have those elbows super high because then it kind of turns into a tricep extension. We wanna allow those forearms to be just underneath that bar, pointy part of your elbow slightly in front of that barbell. Now from here, we wanna make sure everything below the shoulders is nice and tight and we're standing tall. So we're not leaning back. If we're doing this, we're shrinking. We don't want to do that. We want to stand up nice and tall, and you don't really think about that it's going to help you that much by squeezing your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes and your abs, but by building a solid foundation, that's going to ensure that that barbell is going to go straight up from the shoulders as opposed to wobbling back and forth. If your hips are moving around, that bar is going to be moving forward and backwards, side to side, and we don't want that. So just like when we do the overhead squat, if you've got any wobbling in your elbows or your shoulders, that's going to transition all the way down throughout the entire squat. So same thing here. We want to make sure that we're squeezing every single muscle in our body before we even start the press. So what I want you guys to do here is just imagine a chain reaction. So you're going to squeeze those quads, hamstrings, squeeze the butt cheeks, squeeze the abs, and then immediately start to press that bar all the way overhead. Now, if you feel like you need to prime those shoulders just a little bit more, one more exercise that you can do that's going to help you get that bar straight up overhead and not lean back and press, these are called wall slides. Sometimes I have you guys do this for about a minute or so, but we're going to be leaning up against the wall, not quite into a quarter squat or a wall sit where we're trying to hit the quads. We don't want to do that. We want to focus on our upper body. So tailbone, mid-back, shoulders, and head should be touching the wall. We're going to get those arms up at about 90 degrees. Now from here, I can actually touch the wall with my elbows and my hands. The goal is to get those hands all the way up overhead, moving them very slowly while keeping contact with your elbows and your hands. I know you guys can't really see it, but right about here is where I lose contact with the wall. So I'm able to go from here, slowly going up. Now my elbows have come off the wall. I'm going to fight that, so I'm going to push those elbows back. This is really taxing my upper back and my traps. Pushing those elbows back, pushing them back, pushing them back, and then we're going to reverse it. Keep pushing them back. Now my elbows are back against the wall, and I'm slowly going to return to that 90-degree angle. So feel free, if you feel like you need to warm up those shoulders a little bit more, go with some wall slides. It seems simple, but it's very effective. Now, let's get rid of that PVC pipe. Let's bring that barbell into the picture here. So we've got it up here on our shoulders. You'll be pulling this out of the rig. I don't have a rig in my garage here, but just make sure we got the pointy part of our elbow just in front of the bar. We're not way up here, right down here, and we've got our body tight. We're gonna pull that chin back, squeeze those legs, squeeze those abs, press that bar all the way out, lock those elbows, and bring it back down. I want you guys to do 30 seconds of very slow, intentional strict press before you even put on some weight there. So, again, make sure you're squeezing every muscle in your body. Yes, it is an upper body pressing movement, but we should really focus also on stabilizing everything from the shoulders down. You've got 15 minutes to build to a heavy single strict press. use your time wisely. You know, do a set of really lightweight 10 reps, you know, not at tempo, just, you know, knock it out, 10 reps, rack it, put a little bit more weight on there, maybe go for a set of 5 or 6, put a little bit more on there for a set of 3, and then start to attack those singles and give yourself at least a minute, maybe 90 seconds, maybe even 2 minutes of rest in between. And you know, you should have plenty of time in, you know, if you warm up for 5 minutes, that gives you 10 minutes to just build on your heavy singles. Plenty of time to get 5, 6, maybe even 7 attempts in there. Once you feel like you found your heavy single, again, we're gonna do 5 rounds, that 500-meter row, 25 or 18 calorie bike, or 400-meter run, followed by 9 strict presses. So this should be lightweight, should be able to do 9 reps unbroken, or a set of 5 and 4. The recommended weight is 95 pounds for the guys, 65 pounds for the women. And again, ways to scale this. For the cardio piece, should take you somewhere between 2 and 3 minutes. If you get close to 4 minutes, you need to knock down the distance or the number of calories to fit inside that window. And then with the strict press, like I mentioned, you gotta be able to do either a big set of 9 or a set of 5 and 4. Again, in this piece, I want you to go from the floor. So have that barbell on the ground. We're gonna have to clean it every time. Make sure we're completing these reps. Should touch your shoulders in the bottom, elbows locked out in the top. 9 reps, and then set that bar down, back to the cardio piece, 5 rounds. Gonna take you about 15 to 18 minutes. Thank you guys for following along. I'll have another one for tomorrow. And if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Doug at DelawareFitFactory.com. I'll catch you guys in the next one.